Okay, folks. I know I haven't really recorded anything or basically uploaded anything in quite a while. I think probably maybe like a month ago was the last time, maybe more over a month actually, more like a month and a half was the last time I uploaded anything. Um, so I'll start off by saying that first off, um, I'm past 150 days. I'm actually past 160 days, so like I'm well past the 5 months mark of Nofap for this, this time around. So, um, and obviously, like aiming to just get through each day and keep working on things and keep going. No falling back, no falling down. That sort of thing. So, it's about closing on 8:35 p.m. I just got done with work, so gonna try not to like sort of trip over my tongue too many times because I'm kind of tired and I like to get indoors, get a hot shower, and get to bed. Probably actually have to grab food for tomorrow because I'm really trying to get back on my diet. But all those sorts of things are kind of peanuts compared to some of the other things that have been going on. So, I did as much OT as I could. Got myself to a point where I can, meet certain financial goals by the end of the year, or maybe at the beginning of next year. I did change shifts. I had a plethora of reasons, but I had to sort of rely on ones that were not really related to work, in order to sort of justify changing shifts. I used to be working on the back end of the week. Now I'm working on the front end of the week. So for me, tomorrow will be the last day of this week, and then I'll have 3 days off. But because anyone who's gonna follow me, they know that several months ago, back in April, my dad had a stroke. Basically, if you just wanted to sort of simplify, the description of it and sort of cut through all the technicalities, that's essentially what happened. And he's recovered enough, that he can work now, but they would still need me to be available on certain days. Maybe I could, go down and help with stuff. Obviously, again, anybody knows, or has followed this channel enough knows that I've had issues, conflicts, etc. with my family, but I don't want to say that things have changed or that people are changing or making a sort of statement like that, such that I could come back later on and be like, oh well, actually, etc., etc., so on and so forth. Oh, guess what, folks? This and the other still the same, or go back to Vegas video talking about my frustrations with my family or something like that. I don't want to like make some sort of broad sweeping statement like that, but there's sort of a reordering of sorts going on. I don't know how things are going to sort of finalize, if they will. But like I said, there's been a bit of a shake-up, so to speak, particularly with my dad having that stroke, and things are taking a new form. Let's just put it that way. There may still be stuff, the old frustrations. Some of them may still, be there in the future, issues, that sort of thing. But some of the old ones may also be going away. So there's sort of this, possibility or potentiality for, things improving, that sort of deal. And I went down there during Thanksgiving, was with them. Obviously, I had concerns that stuff was going to be, the same old, bad sort of things. But, I finally got to actually sort of, spend time with, not just sort of, but actually did get to spend time with my dad. My folks are still together. My parents are still married, close to 40 years. I think next year will be like their 40-year anniversary. But, I got to go fishing with my dad. Him and I, drove out to this lake that we go fishing, at when I was, living down there. It was one of those places I had found out about when we moved there, and I been looking around for places we could go fishing and that sort of deal. And it's sort of that spot where my dad and I would go. We got to go out there, a couple times. Didn't catch anything, but it was just fun to be able to chill out there and spend time with them, that sort of deal. While my mom and my sister were doing their thing at home, and we got to go to one of the local ranges, indoor ranges, and turns out the rifle I have, which I got from my, I should put it I didn't, my grandpa literally didn't hand it to me because he passed away when I was, almost 6 years old, 5 going on 6, but, this rifle was my grandpa's rifles. I think it was like the last of his rifles that they still had, due to various, events, but, it's like the last of the rifles that, it was his, and, I don't know if he ever fired it himself, if he ever used it going deer hunting, back in the Midwest or anything like that. But I got my hands on it. I took it apart, cleaned it, and had checked out the different components of it to make sure everything was looking good. And I'd gotten some rounds, some ammunition like 5-6 years ago, as well as the clips to load them into the rifle, and I was able to take it to the range finally with my dad, and it works. Had a little bit of a maybe like a misfire. It almost seemed like I had a bit of like a dud round, but there was I don't know if maybe I didn't fully cock the rifle properly or so, but the round eventually did fire when I gave it a second go. The rest of them all fired, properly, and I got some footage from the, time I was there, because my dad took some footage, and he got to fire the rifle too. But we had, that sort of, that father-son bonding experience there, where we got to sort of reconnect and actually do some of the stuff that, I, for the longest time, so much of my problems, you can probably go back and find videos where I talked about this, where it's kind of like I never got to spend time with him. It was always like him having to, run to go and take care of the other half of the family, and never getting to spend any time with him. Just him and I, not having to put out another fire or deal with another emergency, but just, father and son doing, quote unquote, conventionally masculine things, and of course I had to throw that qualifier conventionally in front of that, because this day and age, if you sort of just trying to find something like that, people will want to come at you and be like, oh well, that's not exactly my interpretation, or how dare you assume that XYZ is ABC, or whatever the case may be. But got to go do that, and reconnected. And then this last weekend, went back again. It was like a 4-day weekend, so I got to, chill at the house a bit. Things are, relatively relaxed, for the most part. There were a couple instances, but it wasn't like too overblown with stuff. Having to do with my sister, but honestly, and I'll get into this probably in another video. Again, I'll determine whether or not I keep the video up, but it's, sort of some, actually, but a lot of things are starting to make sense now because of some revelations about some sort of previously subterranean, hidden, unrevealed, events and truths, if you will, from, several years ago, almost like a decade and a half, if probably more than that, actually. Yeah, I think so. More like almost like 2 decades ago. Some stuff that happened what we didn't know about, or we now know about, but was helping cleaning around the house last weekend, and then making some plans for this weekend to go down there and finish a little bit of work that I was doing, and then also to help my dad put up some stuff out in the back, some stuff he'd been wanting to work on, but I hadn't been able to go down there, or I hadn't been willing to go down there because of previous issues. But And I got plans to go and work on some of that stuff with him and get that sort of stuff done. But got to go see the movie Dune with him. Unfortunately, it wasn't in IMAX, but since they kind of put it back in theaters and it had sort of had its initial run, we ended up having pretty much we had the whole theater to ourselves just watching that. And I'd say that in many ways, like, my dad's a super stoic kind of a guy, which is why, like, that wasn't last April, this April, him having the stroke, like, was such a sort of, such an extreme event. It wasn't just that, he could have very well died, but the fact that, by and large, he's not very expressive. He doesn't, really talk about his feelings or, other things like that. He's like to use the term again, very conventionally masculine in many ways. But from what I could tell, like, he really liked the movie, and it was really great to be able to, like, share that with him. So I got my plans in the future, next week, that sort of thing. But man, I'm gonna have to probably devote an entire video to talking about some of the stuff because, like I said, the stuff I'm referring to is the sort of the revelations that are coming forward now. I don't know if it's sort of like, me graduating from college, and finally, getting some things going in my life, getting that degree, getting the, job, etc., is really what's, set off a lot of these things, almost like a trigger or so. But these revelations, and honestly, they don't just have to do with sort of stuff that happened to my sister, but also another cousin, and it had to do with another member of the family. And you know what, I don't want to go any further than that, but basically it's like, sort of deep, dark family secrets. Let's just put it that way. Deep, dark family secrets that are now, rising up to the fore, so to speak, and, to the top, to the surface, sort of, even buried deep down inside, under subterranean, and now, like, they're rising up, and, folks are now talking about some of the things that have been going on behind the scenes that, basically explain a lot of the behaviors that that certain other members of his family have engaged in, which, has caused, secondary, tertiary, etc. effects, traumas and volatility and setbacks in life, and in many ways a lot of the issues that, that I've talked about in terms of my own self. Like, I've discussed ad nauseum, my problems, my issues with women, or and I don't mean women in the actually in the general sense, but, in terms of, like, when a guy talks about, oh, I've got, women problems, or I've got girl problems, or I've got problems, relating to women I'm, interested in, or maybe not even relating to them, but, like, making that connection, or interacting with them, that sort of thing. Like, I see myself, sort of mimicking the behaviors that I have with the female members of my family, and, they've treated me this way, and this, sort of shaped my perception of women, and, what expectations I have of women, and that sort of thing. And, give me very damaged or negative or dysfunctional perception of women, and dysfunctional relationship with women, etc., etc. Once I really get into talking about the nitty-gritty details, and it's stuff that makes me both very angry and very sad, and I don't know, like, it puts me and I know, you see the expression on my face, it doesn't seem like it does, but it definitely does. It's weird when I talk about these things, and I you know, maybe I come off as very stoic in terms of my body language, but it's the kind of stuff that, you know, can on some days kind of like eat me up inside because it also impinges upon, you know, like you know, I've thrown the term conventionally masculine many times, and you know, as a man, you want to, it's ingrained in you to be a protector, you know. And if things happen and you don't, even if you don't know about it, even if you never had the opportunity to sort of act upon that, you know, instinct, because again, you didn't have the information that it would be necessary for you to do so, even then, you still feel like some sort of sense of failure on your own part, you know. But again, I'll get into this in another video. I'm going to have to sort of figure out how exactly I want to, you know, talk about when I go into certain details and that sort of thing. Hopefully, I'm not giving away too many things, but yeah, and you know, and these are events that I didn't want to really believe in at first, because you know, with red pill knowledge, you know about certain things. Let's just put it that way. That you're aware of those things. So when you hear some story like, you know, like what I'll be talking about, you first want to be skeptical until or unless there's a preponderance of evidence that would make you go, yeah, I believe it, and yeah, I accept it, and okay, you know, I'm gonna modify my perspective on things with this new information that's, you know, kind of staring me in the face, sort of a deal. But it's been a real mind F in a lot of ways, and it's, you know, like I think I used the expression that a lot of things are now making sense that didn't make sense before. There have been some really tough conversations that I haven't had with the two people who were, you know, bringing these things up, per se, revealing these, you know, subterranean, submerged, hidden, you know, dark secrets, so to speak, but with other members of the family, insofar as how they responded to certain behaviors and such in the past, and how that, you know, ended up shaping sort of my worldview in a really dysfunctional manner. But it's almost like, you know, the pieces are falling into place in a sense. Like, and when you have this sort of stuff happen, you know, then 10, 15, 20 years later, stuff gets revealed to you, and it's just like, you know, it totally, like, it's like the book is being rewritten, you know, and you're sort of looking at a timeline in your mind's eye, and you're seeing like this whole arc of like the story of not only your life, the lives of your family, you know, people you've interacted with, etc., etc., etc. And it's like, you know, it's almost like on the one hand, it's great that things now make sense. That it's like, okay, like, you know, I always felt things were off, or things were wrong, or something was messed up. But at the same time, you're like, damn, I didn't know it was that screwed up, that evil, wrong, whatever word you want to use, you know, just, you know, twisted, and also just like these deep dark secrets, they also bring with them a real and justified sense of injustice in so many different ways. Again, I feel like I have to really devote a video to the subject, because it's been this huge sort of like avalanche of just like, you know, learning one thing after the next. And like, I think about all the videos I've made on this channel and things I've talked about and the issues I've had and whatnot, and it's just like, you know, eventually the truth is revealed, and eventually a lot of those things, you know, even if it takes 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, a lot of times things, you know, they'll come full circle, or they become, I don't know, understood, you know, like you get the facts that you need eventually. And a lot of times, you know, the truth is not, it's not what you want it to be, but it's almost like things kind of like make sense, you know, in many ways. In a really messed up, twisted way. And in this case, I don't know if I'll record the video right after this or I'll just like kind of go home. But yeah, I've been spending some time, you know, processing this stuff, and also just trying to keep on working and making money and taking care of certain things so that not only can I, you know, be moving forward with life, but also be able to do some things that I need to do. But also making it a point to stand up, speak out, and be heard on these subjects in terms of like my own angle on things, my own perspective, my own experience. But you know, and trudging forward with Nofap for one thing. But there's a lot more I can talk about when it comes to even that. Yeah. So anyways, 21 minutes. Again, I'll have to jot some things down and you know, put together an actual plan for how I want to approach talking about these things, because these are not what I'm going to talk about. It's not. I gotta mince my words or so, especially, you know, if I want to putting the stuff up on YouTube, because I don't want to get into certain things. I just don't want to get in trouble. It's nothing political or what have you, but yeah, let's just leave it at that. So anyways, really need to get the food for tomorrow, and then I can hopefully do the whole night, you know, before bed routine, and go to sleep after I take a, you know, nice hot shower and chill for a bit and then go to bed. So anywho, hopefully see you folks around, and I'll, you know, get to actually cover in detail what I've been dancing around for most of this video. So anyways, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.